Shalom. This week's Sedra is Sedra's Terumah. The building of the Mishkan and its ingredients are heavy with details that are pregnant with meaning. No detail of the building of the Mishkan is random. In this week's Torah portion we learn, you shall make the enclosure of the tabernacle, the Mishkan. On the south side, 100 cubits of hangings of fine twisted linen for the length of the enclosure on that side, with its 20 posts and their 20 sockets of copper, the hooks and the bands of the posts to be of silver. 100 cubits of hangings for the length along the north side, with its 20 posts and their 20 sockets of copper, the hooks and bands of the posts to be also of silver. In his commentary to these verses, Rashi wrote something interesting. He wrote that the columns were encircled with silver threads. I do not know whether this was done over their whole entire surface or at the top or round the middle only, Rashi wrote, but I do know that the word to be silver denotes belted on. For we find in the account of the concubine of Gilboa, there were with him a couple of donkeys saddled, and the word saddled was translated by the Targum, by our translators, as belted. The Ibn Ezra wrote that the word to be of silver means something else. It means to cling to. The silver clinged to the pillars. It wasn't belted around. This word is used to mean cling throughout the Torah. You might have noticed, especially if you've prayed with Hasidim, that some men have a custom of wearing a black cloth belt around their waist during a prayer. That cloth is called a gartel. The Shulchan Aruch says that wearing a belt that acts as a separation between the heart and genitals fulfills the mitzvah of prepare to meet your God. So this is actually obligatory, and that pasuk instructs us to wear special garments for prayer. The Chavetz Chaim also explained that a person needs a separation to reflect the differences between our intellect and our instinct. Although some wear a special gartel for this purpose, most rabbis think that the waistband of our pants are adequate. The Rambam also wrote that a person must cleave to scholars and their students in order to learn from their actions. And we see this as a pasuk, as it says in the Torah, you shall cleave to God. Our rabbis asked, but hold on a second, is it possible to cleave to God? But rather than literally clinging to God, cleave to the scholars and their students. Rashi and Ibn Ezra understood the symbolism of the silver on the Mishkan's pillars, hinting to two different ideas. Rashi saw the silver as a divider between the different sections of the pillars. It reminded us that, like the divider in prayer that we need, we must separate between the atmosphere outside of the Mishkan, a holy secular atmosphere, and inside the Mishkan, an atmosphere of sanctity. The Ibn Ezra understood things differently. He understood the silver to symbolize the clinging the Jewish people are commanded towards the sanctity of the Mishkan. Just as Jews are commanded to cling to scholars, they will see silver clinging to the pillars and be inspired to cling to the sanctity of the Mishkan. Whether the opinion of Rashi or the Ibn Ezra speaks to you more, both ideas are relevant to Jews in the times of the Mishkan and today without a Mishkan or a Beit HaMikdash. When we encounter sanctity, whether it be in the synagogue, the study hall, or in the realm of kindness towards our fellow Jews, we must cling to the sanctity that we encounter and wrap it around ourselves as a belt, dividing our instinctual desires from our sanctified ambitions. Shabbat Shalom.